everyone, it's Elaine. Thanks for joining me back on my channel. Today I'm going to be using some little monkeys from the Little Monkey Agenda from Mama Elephant. I coloured these up during the 30-day colouring challenge and I really wanted to put them onto a card. So first of all, I'm taking some Distress inks and oxides. I've got peeled paint and Twisted Citron Distress inks and Lucky Clover oxide ink. And I've put those randomly down onto a piece of plain white cardstock, nothing special. And it's a little bit messy, as you can see, but it will all look okay in the end. So I've taped that piece of cardstock to my desk, and I've also taped that stencil over the top as well, and I've taped that down so it doesn't move. And this stencil is from Newton's Nook, and it's lovely, but it just is a little bit delicate because of all those leaves. So I'm just going back over those leaves with my Distress inks and just sort of pouncing it on, just trying to get a bit more definition onto that cardstock with those leaves. And now I'm taking my new favourite embellishment, the Nouveau Glimmer Paste in Moonstone, and I've just got my palette knife there and I'm just sort of scraping that over the top of the stencil. I'm not really too worried. It does pick up some of the colour underneath, but every time I put my palette knife back into my jar, I do make sure I wipe off what's on the palette knife because I don't want to contaminate my jar of glimmer paste. Once I'm happy with that, I then remove my stencil, and you can see it looks all lovely and shimmery and pretty. So I'm then going to leave that to dry. I usually leave mine overnight. And then I take my Mama Elephant Madison Avenue frames, or the frame from that set, and I just sort of move it around just to sort of find the best position that I want to cut out. So once I've decided where I want my leaves to all be positioned, I cut that out with my die cutting machine. And there you can see it really is shimmery, it's so pretty. So then I take all my little monkeys that I coloured up. I used my Zig Clean Colour Real Brush markers to colour these. And I just sort of lay them out onto my desk within that frame just to see how I think it's all going to look. Sort of moving them around to make sure that the balance is right, or as good as it can be. And then I decide that the best way to do this is to lay some double-sided tape across the top and the bottom, because I'm going to use some thread to kind of join them all together. So I removed the backing sheet from that double-sided tape, and I just used some sort of silver thread that I've got in my stash. To be honest, you don't even need to do this, you could just glue them to the backing piece, but I didn't really know what I was doing at this point, so I just thought I'd go with this. I probably could have saved myself quite a lot of effort, but always good to try something new. So I've got my Nouveau liquid adhesive, and I've just laid all my monkeys face down onto my desk, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of each of those monkeys. And then I turn my frame upside down as well, and then I sort of lay it over the top of the monkeys. And then I decide that it would be easy just to put the glue over the top of the thread and onto the monkeys. Hopefully it's quite self-explanatory. And then I just cut up some tiny little bits of paper and stick that to the back of the monkeys just to kind of hold them all in place. And to give a bit of dimension, I do decide to prop up my frame. So I add some foam tape to the back of the frame there, sort of covering up those threads just to give it some extra security. So those strings aren't going anywhere. So there are my little monkeys, all hanging off the strings. And then to position my back piece, or the back panel, onto my card base, I cut another one of those frames in just some plain white cardstock, and I use that as a guide to position this back piece, you'll see. It just helps me to get everything sort of centred and hopefully not too wonky. So I can just use that for another project once I've done doing this. And then I remove the backing paper from the foam tape, and then I sort of try and get my monkeys to face the right way. And then I just position that frame down onto my card base and secure that. So then I just go ahead and cut the threads off the top and the bottom. And now I'm using a thank you sentiment from the Tim Holtz Crazy Talk stamp set. And I've just got a piece of cardstock that I've cut out there using the smallest die in the Lacy Layers die set from Waffle Flower. I've just inked that up with a bit of Twisted Citron and Lucky Clover around the edge, and then I'm using my Versamark ink to stamp that sentiment. I use my piece of acetate before I stamp it onto the card just to make sure that I've got it straight. And then just add a bit of foam tape to the back of that and place it down onto my card. So there we go, that's my card finished. I hope you enjoyed that today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.